Chicken breast with pasta and a smoked bacon and mushroom cream sauce is just one of my favorite dishes. And the key is using really good quality chicken. Pasta, you can use the dried pasta. I'm going to use this lovely fresh Pappardelle egg pasta. Okay, so this is part of the Simply Better collection, and I like it. It's a nice wide, there's a little wide pasta, there's a nice bit of texture, so it's made with free range eggs. Chicken, I'm going to heat the pan. This is on the bone, so it's called a supreme, and this is corn-fed chicken, so it's fed on maize. It gives the most beautiful flavor and it keeps it really succulent. And you know, to be honest with you, this is the chicken that I use at home all the time. I think it's excellent, so it is. So bring it to room temperature. Now you can get the breast of chicken corn-fed from Simply Better, skin off, skin on, no bone, whichever way you want to. I'm going to keep it the wing bone on and the skin on, because I want to show you the technique of getting it nice and crispy. So I already have some in the oven, because it takes about 18-20 minutes to cook this properly through. So we're going to put a little bit of rapeseed oil in both pans. So one pan is for the chicken, and then the other pan is for my sauce, but you could actually use the pan that you do the chicken with for your sauce. So that's the rapeseed oil. You get a nice high smoke temperature. So this is the little flour here. So this is from Derry Karma, and they're a lovely husband and wife team, and they're based in County Louth. So get the pan nice and hot. That's really important. We're going to season up our chicken with a little bit of salt. So we brought it to room temperature, so you can see that kind of yellow kind of like color, and that's from the maize. So don't be nervous when you see that. It's all about flavor. So good hot pan. We're going to get my tongs here, and we're going to bring the chicken over. So if you take it from the fridge and you just let it relax. So just while that's heating, it's nearly ready. I've diced some smoked bacon, and this is the smoked bacon here. So the whiskey smoked bacon here, and that's what you're looking for, the Bord Bia quality mark for the chicken, for the bacon. So we're supporting Irish produce, Irish farmers. That's what it's all about. I've cut that into lovely little lardons. So this is going to work really well in the sauce. Okay, so skin side down. So just place this onto the pan. That's exactly what you want to hear, that really kind of hot kind of sizzle. Okay. We're going to put some butter, and we're going to season up a little bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper on the flesh side. Now just be careful, sometimes it can skite a little bit, so just be careful. The pan needs to be hot. Some lovely butter in there, 3 pieces of butter. And then I'll put some butter onto the pan here, because this is going to be for my mushroom and smoked bacon cream. Okay, so what I'll do first of all, so the chicken is on there, just give it a little shake. The butter will give the most beautiful flavour, and what I'm going to do actually with the chicken, I'm going to put in 3 cloves of garlic. I'm not even going to peel them, and some lovely fresh thyme, and I'm going to put that onto the pan in a few minutes. So what I'll do first of all, for my mushroom cream, these are lovely mushrooms, sorry. We have shiitake mushroom and some oyster mushroom. So these are an exotic mushroom, they're not a wild mushroom. So they're lovely. Now you can use some regular button mushrooms, you can use some chestnut mushrooms if you want to, but the secret into using mushrooms is never wash them. You just simply wipe them with some tissue paper. Now these have a lovely texture. So these would originally been grown in Japan, and now they can be grown in Ireland, in Monaghan, Cork, all over the country. So oyster mushrooms, lovely in a stir fry. Okay, that should be enough. First thing we'll do is in this pan, we're going to turn the chicken and just looking at it. So remember, I started off the pan in full heat, and now I've reduced it. So just using my spatula, we're going to do this here. Just put in my smoked bacon and just let that get that cooking. Okay, let's have a little look at our chicken. Lovely. I will flip it back over, and see the way the butter is browning. That's going to give it so much beautiful flavour. So the key into this is the really good quality chicken, and I'm a big fan of the corn fed, so it's fed on maize. Remember that. It keeps it really succulent, gives the most delicious flavour. Now that's on the bone, so it takes a little bit longer, so it's called a supreme. It's when the wing bone is attached to the breast of chicken. So into the pan then, we're just going to start cooking the bacon. I forgot to turn it back up, so I've just done that. I'm going to put in my mushrooms, and we're going to put in some garlic. So you can just use some regular mushrooms. I don't want kind of overcomplicating it. We're going to use a little bit of this thyme here, just a couple of little kind of sprigs of thyme, and then I'm going to put the rest in on the pan when I'm cooking the chicken. So thyme works really well with mushrooms and bacon. Fresh thyme, it really does. So see, you're left with this lovely little kind of stalk. So don't waste that. There's loads of flavour there. I don't want that going in. But that's going to go into the pan. And when I throw this into the pan, here crackling, and then the garlic, just like that. And I'll flip over the chicken there. So keeping it nice and high, sealing it in. And I like to finish the chicken actually in the oven because it gives it lovely, makes it lovely and succulent. Now you can put these pans, these are tri-ply, these are part of my cookware collection. These can all go into the oven, but I'm going to show you a really, really good tip that when you seal off the chicken, say you were doing this for a dinner party, I'm going to put it onto a tray and then into the oven. I'll show you that. And the oven is preheated at 180. So just for the mushrooms and the smoked bacon, you have it there, it's cooking up nicely. And the smell of smoked bacon, there's something so, so nice about that. So you can actually do this in the same pan that you've done the chicken, say it on the wash up. So I'll just move this here. I'm going to play musical chairs. So the chicken is still raw in the centre. We've got a lovely little bit of colour. Now our garlic. Just arrange that just around, and then all that lovely butter. Yum, yum, yum. So just drizzle that there. So say you were doing this now and you had a group coming and you wanted to get organised. That can be all done, what I've done there. Pop it into the oven then when your guests arrive, and that will take probably about 15 to 18 minutes. So you've just sealed it, so remember that it is still raw in the centre. Now I have already one done. Okay, sauce. This is our sauce here. I'm just trying to get the bacon a little bit crispy. The mushrooms are sliced. I'm going to put in 1 clove of garlic into that. So garlic, thyme works so well with this. We'll crush it, turn off that, and then just scrape this out. So just 1 clove of garlic goes in there, and then we're going to put in some creme fraiche. So I'll just literally pop that into the oven, and then I'll show you the one. So when you're taking anything out of the oven, make sure that you use a dry tea towel. So here's one we made earlier. I'm going to pop that in. The oven is preheated at 180. And this is a new thing that we bought out. It's a little trivet. So when something comes out of the oven, this is new to my cookware collection, you just sit it on that and then you have it ready there. So we'll let that rest. So what you're looking for, guys, is just when that's firm to the touch in there. So I know that's done because that's been in over 15 minutes and I give it a really good sealing in the pan. All those lovely juices. And a wee tip for you, what I didn't do with the other one, I put in 2 spoonfuls of water. So just to keep it really lovely and moist. Okay. So our sauce, our bacon is on there. Now we're going to cook our pasta and we're going to start to finish the sauce. So I'm using the Pappardelle pasta. So I'll just open it and I'll show you. This is the fresh egg pasta. You can use dried pasta, but it's a nice kind of thick pasta, nice little bit of texture. So it's made with free range eggs, and then of course you have the durum wheat. So a nice handful of that. So it's a really, really great tasting pasta. So I've just put salt into the water. I should have said that. And we're just going to cook that. It's going to take a few minutes to do that. So obviously I'm not using it all. So a tip for you, when you're keeping this, just wrap it in cling film and just keep it in the fridge, and that will keep for a few days. There's no problem. And of course you can use some dried pasta, no problem at all. Okay, so creme fraiche next. Actually, this is a lovely company and they're from Convoy there in Donegal. So lovely Irish producers here, from our chicken to our bacon to our lovely creme fraiche. We're going to put in a nice spoonful, just stir the pasta. Okay, so a couple of spoonfuls of the creme fraiche in here. Stir this through. I have the pan kind of reduced, so it's not on a full heat. I'm going to use a little bit of the pasta water, so I'll just use this big spoon here, and then some Parmesan cheese and basil, and that's really it. So our pasta is on cooking. This will just loosen up the sauce. So that's the water there, we've salt in that, and it doesn't take long to cook that pasta. What I like to do is to toss in a little bit of butter. You know me and the butter. So give this a nice stir. You can put pesto into this if you want to. You can use regular cream, but I'm using the creme fraiche for this. There's a lovely acidity, lovely freshness in this, and you could use mascarpone cheese if you wanted to too. So just reduce that a little bit. Lovely. I'm going to need a little bit more of water because I want to talk to you just about what I'm going to add in, the Parmesan cheese. So this is the Simply Better Parmesan 30-month matured. This is the grated one. So if you're stuck for time, I'm going to grate my own, and this here, the PGI, Protected Geographical Indication. So I had the pleasure of meeting this producer, you know, in It was just incredible in Italy for one of my TV shows, and just to see the way Parmesan cheese is made. So I'm going to grate this here. So I like using the grater, so I do. So this is the wide grater I'm using, and this is the new addition to my cookware collection. So just grate that in there. Lovely. Now, gonna put, I think it's a little bit thick, and you can see that there yourselves. So I'm just gonna put in some of more of this. I'm gonna literally switch the pan off and then just loosen that up. So our pasta, we want to cook it that it's al dente. So what that means, everyone, that it's firm to the bite. It doesn't mean that it's soft or in any way undercooked. A pinch of salt, and be careful because of the smoked bacon, it's dried cured. So it means that it's cured, hand cured in some sea salt. We're going to now drain off our pasta. So just move this out of the way, just using a sieve. And then I'm going to toss that in some butter. So just a couple of pieces of butter goes in there. You can put the lid on. I had a lid, there's no need for it. And just give it a little shake just to mix it around. You can throw some pesto into that if you want to. So that's it already done, some herbs and that. But I think with the chicken and this sauce, we're going to finish it now with some lovely fresh basil. So I'll just pick a little bit from here. Just a couple of little leaves. I love fresh basil. It's one of my favorite herbs. Absolutely love it. So we have our lovely Parmesan cream sauce, and this on its own with some pasta is gorgeous without even the chicken. But I think the whole combination. So I'm going to cut this really, really thin. Now see the way I'm carving my fingers? I'm using my large chef's knife. So chopping this nice and fine. So that cut there is called a chiffonade. So it's really thin. Now if I leave that for 10-20 minutes, it's going to go black and it's going to bruise, because normally you tear basil. But because I'm putting it straight into the sauce, a minute, that's it done. So we're going to serve this up here. That's our creme fraiche in there, our lovely mushrooms, and then we have that fresh basil there and the Parmesan. That sauce will keep for 3 or 4 days in your fridge. You can pan fry your chicken a minute, which I think it's always nicer to do nice and fresh. Okay, so first thing we'll get is our pasta. So we're going to serve this up. So I use the Pappardelle pasta. It's a wide pasta, and this is the fresh pasta, part of the Simply Better collection. So you can use the spaghetti, or they have a lovely rigatoni one, or you can just use any of the dried pastas. Obviously the dried pasta will take longer to cook. So just a nice little pile of that. So it's a lovely kind of soft tasting, delicate pasta, and that lovely little bit of Irish butter. You know, it's hard to beat that. I'm going to actually put the sauce to the side, but before I do that, I'll pick this chicken here. So the wing bone is on it, so remember that, and that's why it's called the Supreme. So just place that over there, and then we're just going to get our sauce. So if you think it's a little bit too thick, you can just literally, if you want to, you can just loosen it up a wee bit, but I'm actually happy with that, so I am. So just literally arrange that over to the side there. And then a little bit of black pepper, and then you can mix the pasta through with that. Cut up the chicken, have your sauce on the side, a little bit of black pepper. I think it needs a wee bit more grated Parmesan. Sure, I'd live on this, so I would, just a little bit over your lovely fresh pasta and into your sauce, and it's going to melt and give so much flavour. And that's it there. Like, if you saw the way they produce this, so this is matured for 30 months, so it is. So that's it there. The little block of Parmesan cheese. There's something very unique, and this is the grated one too. You could use that if you're stuck for time. So that's a very, very simple recipe using the Simply Better corn-fed chicken, the Pappardelle pasta, and in the smoked bacon and mushroom cream sauce. Remember, I added in garlic and thyme into that. You can leave out the garlic, but I think it adds so much flavour. I used creme fraiche. You could use some mascarpone cheese, or you could use some fresh maybe double cream or whipping cream if you wanted to. So try this recipe, and I hope the whole combinations, you have that lovely delicious tasting chicken, the lovely creamy sauce, and the fresh pasta. So thank you so much, and happy cooking.